Hey guys, I'm Karen with the T. This is going to be my first anime review, and it is going to be episode 10 of Senki Zesshou Symphogear. In today's episode of Senki Zesshou Symphogear, pretty obvious things are revealed. I think that it was an overall good episode, minus the fact that, pretty much a lot of things that happened in it you could tell were going to happen. At the very beginning, we are taken to the gigantic mansion Fine, and we see Ryoko sitting at the table. If you don't remember, Ryoko is the female researcher who just happens to also be crazy blonde naked chick that's been like sadomasochistically torturing Chris. So basically, the Americans come in. There's a lot of English that goes on that is pretty much unintelligible, and she gets shot, and miraculously, she is healed in the same way that Symphogear users would be. If you don't remember during the episode with the sword, where Hibiki takes it and turns into like this crazy monster face, Ryoko shows some powers that normal human beings wouldn't have and seem pretty much like a gear user power. So that is revealed. They're pretty much one and the same. You don't actually see blonde haired Fine and also brown haired Ryoko being the same person right then and there, but come on. Did you not know? Um, Basically, Ryoko gets shot by the American troops, heals herself, and then the troops fire on her again, and the opening happens. Right after the opening, we go into Hibiki and Miku walking out of class. Hibiki talks about how the school song makes her comfortable. Very close moments. It's obviously some foreshadowing for what might be going on later. Um, Basically, then we go back to the bloodbath at Phoenix Crazy Mansion, and Chris rushes in to find a bunch of dead American soldiers. Phoenix is nowhere to be found. The chief comes in, and Chris immediately starts denying that she had anything to do with it. The chief knows, and pretty much he hints to the fact that he knows that Ryoko and Fine are the same person. Um, then what happens is that they have this talk and the chief knows about it, and one of the Nihon security people sees a note on a body that says "I love you, sayonara." I don't think that's the exact thing, but it says sayonara, and they pick it up and a bomb goes off, and somehow the chief is able to use his non-Senpogear user powers and concussively stop the bomb blast. He also picks up a gigantic rock, which is what he does. Um, Chris pretty much goes tsundere because he protects her from the blast, and she wants to know, well, why are you protecting me? And da da da. Chris, if you've been watching up until this point, she's very hot, cold, mostly cold. And the chief explains to her, I'm an adult. This is my position to protect you. I think he feels a lot of guilt over the fact that they weren't able to protect her before. He even said this in a couple episodes back. Chris goes into this long diatribe about how she hates idealists and how she especially hates her parents for having been idealists. She thinks that the best way to destroy war is to go in and kick the rear end of anybody that thinks about fighting, which, if you think about it, isn't really effective. The chief pretty much tells her, when you're an adult, you have more means to be able to chase after your dreams, and then that, her parents tried to prove that using dreams that they could change the world, and that was the entire purpose behind what they were doing. Um, then he hugs Chris, and she starts crying like a baby. She probably hasn't cried in a long, long time. So then there's that happy-go-lucky, feel-good moment. Um, then they go to get in the car, and Chris is like, no, no, I shouldn't get in the car. Soon, 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 soon. The chief tells her eventually she's going to end up being a good guy anyway, gives her a communicator that will give her access to, subway trains, vending machine foods. Chris actually explains to the chief at that point that Fine said that Kadin gear, her gear is finished, and the chief's like, okay. And so they all leave. Hibiki and Tsubasa thereafter are called, and they're trying to find out where Ryoko is. So they have this conversation where, the two girls obviously don't know that Ryoko and Crazy Naked Bitch are the same person. Then during the middle of that call, Ryoko calls in. Everybody else is on like the visual video call. Ryoko has audio only, and so the chief is like, oh, what is going on? But he obviously knows that something's up. So Ryoko's like, oh, I just overslept, and my communicator's acting up. She's not really gonna say, I just got shot in the gut by American soldiers, and I'm sitting in a hallway. The chief actually asks Ryoko about Gear, and she says that it's a tower for reaching the heavens. This sounds a lot like the Tower of Babel from the Bible. And the chief says, he asks why they don't know anything about it yet. Obviously, Ryoko knows about it. So Ryoko says, oh, well, I have some things to handle, but I'll be over soon. Lying bitch, because she's sitting in a stairwell bleeding to death. That's why she can't come over. The chief puts in a search for the Gear, but then the noise attack. They attack in a group of 4, and if you remember, we've got Tsubasa and we've got Hibiki. We've only got 2 Senkis. Senki, no S. We've got 2 Senki, and if you count Chris, then that's 3. Pretty much, though, these noise are not like normal noise. They're like this giant plane, this big, like, B-52 bomber plane looking noise. Tsubasa and Hibiki get dispatched to handle this, and apparently they're not attacking, but Hibiki still goes back. She sends Miku back to the school because if you've been watching up to this point, Hibiki's best friend Miku has been helping her out with things, but, she tells her, Miku promises, well, I'm going to protect your home and keep it safe because, the same way that you're protecting me. That's important to you. So then Hibiki tells Miku that she is the sunshine that warms her up, and there's a lot of female bonding, and it's very cute. And so then Miku goes away, and the chief updates the girls on the noise's position. They're actually all heading to the same point, which is going to be the Tokyo Sky Tower. Hibiki pretty much theorizes that, that is probably, the biggest tower. The chief actually thinks that it's going to be a trap. Tsubasa's manager is seen getting into a car. I don't know what was going on there, but because it went to a commercial break immediately after that, and then right after that, the noise get dumped onto the streets surrounding the Sky Tower and everything like that, and then they just start going at things. Hibiki actually does this amazing, like, badass move where she jumps from the helicopter, sings her song, does her henshin. I get goosebumps and I squealed inside like a little girl. I just love the henshin. Hibiki punched through one of the planes on the way down, which is really baller. I know I use that word wrong, but that's my word. I'm claiming it now. Then Tsubasa is coming off of her motorcycle, because that's how she gets to battles, does a backflip off of it, and transforms midair. More goosebumps. Tsubasa and Hibiki meet up and think about using the helicopter to attack, but the noise is like, guess not, and blow it up. People die. Tsubasa warns Hibiki that, if they fail, the problem is not just going to be contained in the country anymore. It's going to go all over. Then Chris appears and talks about how she doesn't really want to help, but then she starts blasting shit to bits, and it's amazing because Chris is amazing, even though she's got huge knockers. Chris and the Ichiban are actually able to shoot down the flying planes. Hibiki doesn't have any armored gear, and Tsubasa's got a big, huge, badass sword. So pretty much they're melee attackers. With Chris involved, then you get the shooting and the guns and everything. So Ichiban and Chris are able to shoot it down. Ichiban is the name of Chris's armor. So Tsubasa and Hibiki decide to take out the noise that are on the ground. So Chris starts being like a crazy bitch and then starts saying, well, just because we're not friends or just because we're not enemies doesn't mean that we can't fight and da da da. So then Hibiki goes and starts her little friendship chain, and she's like, well, we should all be friends. And she theorizes that, with her not holding onto an armor gear, that means that she can hold her friend's hands instead. It's very cute and adorable. Tsubasa extends her hand to Chris, and then Chris finally accepts it, and then just starts saying, no, 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 what is wrong with me? Zoom, 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 zoom. And then, like, this giant noise comes overhead. So Chris explains that actually Ichiban's specialty is long-range, wide-area artillery. So Hibiki starts freaking out because she thinks she's going to sing her swan song, and Chris is like, do I look that dumb? Really? Really? Chris says pretty much she's going to increase the output of her gear bit by bit and then release all the energy at once, which means that she's going to be vulnerable. Tsubasa and Hibiki are going to protect her during this. Chris has to trust them to protect her. So this is continuing to break down her tsundere shield. Um, then Chris sings like this beautiful song that you haven't heard her sing before as she's charging up. And she gets this amazing heavy artillery called the Megadeth Quartet. Giant missiles fly and just obliterate the shit out of the flying noise. It's amazing. Afterwards, Hibiki glomps onto Chris. Chris starts getting defensive. Soon, 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 soon. We're not friends. Soon, 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 soon. She just wants to fulfill her dream that, she discovered after Fine left her, but, that's never revealed. Because Hibiki gets a phone call, Miku's on the other end and says, holy crap, the noise are here at the school, and the phone call is shut off. Overall, I think that this was a good episode. It's good that they show what has been pretty obvious to me and probably everybody that's watched it, and that other people are picking up on it. I'm not sure, like, why the chief is not really doing too much about it. Maybe he's trying to see, what all she's come up with. I think to interrupt Ryoko in the middle of whatever it is she's doing would be worse because you don't know, like, what else she might have planned and what all, she might be up to. Chris is back and forth with wanting to make friends and then not wanting to make friends. I get that she's damaged and the whole tsundere thing, but sometimes it gets frustrating. It's like, dude, you need food. You need to kill things that kill other people. But hey, so I hope that she starts to resolve that quickly. But fucking Ryoko, oh my god, she's crazy. Alright guys, that was my review for episode 10 of Senki Zesshou Symphogear. I want to know what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know. There's comments down there. Thanks for watching. Bye.